Hello, hello, everyone. So glad to be here. Happy New Year. This is the first live of the new year. So that's really exciting. Welcome. My name is Kinsey. For those of you that don't know me, I am the owner of an online nutrition and wellness practice called Progressive Health and Wellness, where I deliver a root caused body mind approach to help ambitious do it allers optimize their mental and physical health. And let's be real that this time of year can be a little challenging for a lot of people with the shorter days, the longer nights, the cold weather for most of us. But then also, like coming off of the hoopla of the holidays, for some people, that's really exciting and energizing. For some people, the holidays are really stressful. There's changes in how we eat, there's changes in our exercise routine, there's changes in the amount of alcohol that we're drinking. There's so many, not to mention the pressure to create New Year's resolutions where we have these like big, it feels like they have to be big, lofty goals for ourselves, or we have to change in many ways. So the pressure of all, like there's multiple different facets that are coming in that can leave a lot of people feeling a little depressed this time of year. And I say a little depressed. For some people, it's not even just a little depressed, right? They are really struggling with their mental health, not only depression, but I'll see a lot of anxiety also. And so that's exactly what I'm going live to talk about today is three things that you can do to optimize your mental health and help overcome depression. And this whole conversation will resonate, will fit if you're struggling more with anxiety rather than depression, or maybe even both. So, as I was saying, oftentimes there's many things in our environment that have changed. And the angle that I'm going to take with this talk today is sharing with you some of the foundational pillars of our mental health and things that you can start with, holistic solutions that you can start with to regain your health, your mental health. So, I have talked a lot before about how, let me back up and saying, depression is often touted as being the result of a chemical imbalance in our brain. But what the chemicals are that are imbalanced aren't necessarily talked about. And the cause of that chemical imbalance is not necessarily talked about. So, when we talk about the chemical imbalance, we're referring specifically to neurochemicals. And what are associated with depression are often serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Those are the big three that we would see connected to depression. As for what drives that chemical imbalance, this is where we have to have a conversation around inflammation, and specifically inflammation in the brain. More and more evidence is pointing to how body-based, so inflammation in the body and inflammation in the brain, can manifest as depression, not to mention other mental health issues like anxiety, even bipolar, OCD, and other issues. So when we broaden the scope and broaden the conversation, now the question becomes, what is the cause of the inflammation? And that is where we have a really empowering conversation and can get, there is no one size fits all answer to that. It really depends on the person. But that's where we start looking at things like diet and nutrition, which I'm going to elaborate on in just a minute, physical activity, hormone balance, toxin exposure like molds or metals, for example, the gut microbiome. Now we start getting into some aspects within our nutrition and environment that when those root causes are addressed, we can make really significant positive impacts on depression. Now, I've given longer live talks over those topics, right? Root caused approaches for mental health. I've talked about the connection between the gut microbiome and mental health. I've talked about hormones and mental health, nutrition and mental health, and like much longer deep dive live talks. So if you're wanting more intricate information about those topics, please make sure you're in my Facebook group, Holistic Solutions for Mental Health and Wellness. You can go to the guide section. You can search the group like nutrition and anxiety or nutrition and depression and find lots of resources there. But in this talk, I want this to be more for the person that's watching that's like, you know what? I set a New Year's resolution to improve my health, maybe to improve my mental health. If this is someone that is watching and you're considering starting medication for your depression, if you're looking for, you're like, I know that nutrition can make a difference in my mental health. I know that exercise is supposed to help. I know supplements are supposed to help. I don't know where to start. This is a good place to start. And that's what I want this live talk to be for. Now, I realized I told some people that I would notify them when I started going live. So let me pause real quick and do that before we start getting into the meat of things. So that way nobody misses anything. Hang on. All right. Got it there. Okay, perfect. And Timothy, I see that you're here. Thanks for being here. Sharing about your experience with mold. I get that. Thank you for sharing. And mold is such a sneaky culprit, right? Mold can create so many different symptoms, from anxiety and depression to brain fog and digestive issues and histamine issues and chronic pain and insomnia and weight issues, right? To even more. Many people don't realize that they may be living in mold. Their house may have high levels of toxic mold and you're not aware of it. Or maybe you know that your house has mold, but you've been told it's not that big of a deal, right? You can just patch it up or remove it yourself, when the reality is it may be having a much bigger impact on your health. So I've got I've gone live several times talking about mold. So again, in my group, Holistic Solutions for Mental Health and Wellness, if you're not in there, go ask to join, search the group mold toxicity, and you'll see lots of resources come up. Okay, so let's start with, earlier, it was actually the end of last year, a study was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, so very prestigious journal, and it followed 31,000 women. So it was focusing on women, but nonetheless, 31,000 women, that's a large study. And it found a link between eating large amounts of what was referred to as ultra-processed food. If you see me looking away, I'm looking at my notes. Ultra-processed food and a 50% increase in the risk for developing depression. I can copy the link to that study in the notes here after this talk. Actually, you know what? I can just do it right now. I've got it pulled up right here. Okay, just shared it in my group. So the definition of ultra-processed food, according to this study, were the classic junk food that we would think of, right? Fast food, but then also things like soda or potato chips, but also like yogurt, right? Like Yoplait, especially sweetened yogurts. Bread was counted as a processed food, and ready-made meals. Now, when I say bread, yes, I'm talking about the whole wheat bread, right? I'm talking about the bread that you might think is like the healthier choice. But bread is a processed food, not to mention gluten is like one of the worst things for mental health for many people. To give you an idea, even people with celiac disease, so an autoimmune reaction against gluten, the most common symptom is not digestive. It's actually neurological, with mental health being a big one. So, but that's a side note about bread. So, defining processed food here, it's not just the classic junk food, according to this study. It was also yogurts, breads, and ready-made frozen meals. In fact, artificial sweeteners had an even stronger impact. And other studies have shown that to be true too. So like aspartame, Sweet and Low, Splenda, things like that, they actually they lead to a hyper exaggerated response in with neurons, and it keeps them at a higher threshold, so they are more reactive, and that can lead to chemical imbalances, right, that cause the depression. So imbalances in our neurochemicals that can lead to depression. Now, I've talked a lot about the chemical imbalance before, as I was saying before, and how this is connected to inflammation, and how some of the more common sources of that inflammation are diet and the gut microbiome, et cetera. So while a personalized root cause approach is always the best for optimizing mental health, here are a few things that you can do on your own. So I'm going to start with diet because that's where we started. With diet, ditch the processed foods and focus on whole, nutrient-dense, and minimally processed foods. So here are some easy swaps. If you have cereal for breakfast every morning, swap that for something, ideally, a pro tip here is something protein and fat based. Protein, the building blocks of protein are called amino acids. Amino acids are also the building blocks to our neurochemicals. So, for example, tryptophan is an amino acid that in our brain is used to produce what's called serotonin, which is our feel good, calm, relaxed, positive, optimistic neurochemical. Side note, tryptophan or serotonin is also it's further converted into melatonin, the hormone, the sleep hormone. Another example is tyrosine is used to manufacture dopamine, which is then further converted into norepinephrine in the brain. This helps more with energy, motivation, drive, the motivation and desire to go out and get what we want. While serotonin is the I have enough in my life. I have everything I need in my life, neurochemical. So going back to the recommendation for breakfast, if you usually have cereal or maybe just like a banana while you're running out the door for breakfast, or a piece of toast. I know when I was in college, I thought I was doing the right thing, and I was having like wheat bread with like strawberry jam on it, and that was it. It's the worst thing ever. Not only does that lead to a big insulin blood sugar spike, but again, it was just processed food at the end of the day. So ditch the processed food. Like I was saying, if you break it with cereal or break it with toast or something like that for breakfast, swap that for protein and fat. So for example, a couple of eggs, they could be hard-boiled eggs if you're on the go, some hard-boiled eggs with avocado. If you've got time to prepare a breakfast, maybe you scramble some eggs and have that with sweet potato and avocado. It could be a smoothie with either like a plant-based protein powder. I love Garden of Life plant protein, or Orgain are some good plant-based protein powders. You could do, if you're not dairy sensitive, you could do a high quality organic grass-fed whey. So blend a smoothie with some blueberries and some coconut oil or like full fat canned coconut milk. Those are some examples. But less, like I was saying, ditch the processed food for a protein and fat-based breakfast. Not only will you get the amino acids, which are the building blocks for our neurochemicals, it also stabilizes your blood sugar. So you've got a slow time-released fuel source. And the fat helps, our brain is like 60% fat. So the fat helps with the integrity of the brain. Okay, next, lunch, right? I'm still on the swaps here. So ditching out the processed food. If you normally have a sandwich, or maybe you have a wrap, or you go out to eat, some swaps. I love vegetables and hummus. You could do like broccoli and carrot, snap peas. I love mini peppers, cucumber. Those are some easy veggies. Dip it in hummus. You can do some either canned salmon or canned tuna, like Wild Planet is a phenomenal brand. You could also get some pre-made chicken sausage, organic chicken sausage. Applegate Farms, it's already cooked. You can eat it cold, you can heat it up real quick, but like boom, bam, easy lunch that is ready to go, that is veggie protein based. You can do a salad. I love salads. Not everybody does, but you can do a salad. Again, I'm all about ease and simplicity. So get a big bowl, throw some mixed greens in there, organic mixed greens, slice up some avocado. I love canned olives. Throw some canned olives on there, canned artichoke hearts. You could do some nuts on top. Other veggies like celery and cucumber and carrots. Drizzle on some. Primal Kitchen has some wonderful clean salad dressings. Again, simple, simple, simple. And then if you like wraps, there's some awesome like coconut flour based wraps. That would be a great option. Or the brand Siete makes some great anti-inflammatory wraps too. And then dinner, if you're looking at like pre-made meals, try something. I'm a big meal prepper and like a big one pot meal person, right? Again, I'm not, if it has more than like 5 ingredients, I'm out. So stir fry is one of my go-tos. Chop up some vegetables, broccoli, red pepper, snap peas, carrots, something like that. Chop them up, throw them in a pan, saute with some coconut oil, coconut aminos, great alternative to soy sauce, especially if you're avoiding gluten. So coconut aminos, check those out. Drizzle some on there, cook some basmati rice on the side. Boom, you've got it done. You can eat on it for a few days. That's an example. You can also keep it really simple and do like grilled chicken breast with asparagus. Right? Super simple. But that way, you're not reaching for convenience foods. Or some restaurants, Chipotle is great, really high quality ingredients. Mod Market is awesome. Tokyo Joe's. Those are some easy, like national chains, because we have people watching from everywhere that use clean ingredients, and you can find really really great options there. Garbanzos is another one. Mad Greens is another one. Those are some ones that if you're looking for something quick and simple. We also get a lot of Thai food. I'm a big curry fan. So those are some easy ways. Now, as far as finding, and then let's talk about some like other snack ideas for ditching the processed food. If you're going for the Yoplait yogurt, just make a simple swap and go for a whole milk, like organic full fat Greek yogurt. Even just organic full fat is awesome. If you're not doing dairy, then Lava and Coco Yo are some awesome coconut milk plant-based alternatives. And then snacks, go for like some almonds, dry roasted almonds, cashews, nuts and seeds, cut up vegetables and hummus again. Again, everything I just listed could also be a snack, like some hard-boiled eggs, a smoothie, again, plant-based protein powder. All of those are great choices too. Now, in my practice, we will often run food. It's all very personalized. So we'll often run food sensitivity tests. We provide menu plans, recipes, eat this, not that, like very, very clear personalized recommendations for nutrition. If you want more of a plan like that, shoot me a message. Let's chat. Let's set up a quick phone call. Some other options to look into, you can consider like Whole30 or the paleo diet, or even looking into like a Mediterranean diet, like some of these more kind of well-known nutrition plans, and those will have a lot of resources that you can look at too for if you're looking for more of a plan. Okay, so that's nutrition. Next is exercise. So for exercise has been shown in research to be as effective as antidepressants for mild to moderate depression. So it can be simple, meaning here's what I recommend for exercise. Do something that you really enjoy doing. If that's hopping on an exercise bike and watching true crime on TV, wonderful. Do that. It's same thing with a treadmill or a stair stepper in your home or at the gym. That's great. If you want to go for a walk outside, awesome, or like on a beach or go hiking, if you want to take dancing classes, if you like exercise classes, like anything that you really truly enjoy, that is what you want to strive to do. It does not have to be going to the gym. It doesn't have to be going for a run. One hack that I have found, and I'm going to get more into specifics in just a second, but one hack that I have found to motivate myself to do things that I may not enjoy doing, like putting away laundry, is to listen to a podcast. I love true crime. So I'll listen to a true crime podcast while I do it. And I have actually found myself being like, oh, I get to put away my laundry because I get to listen to a true crime podcast. So if that is a way, like maybe that's a way to motivate you. It might not be true crime. Maybe it's a gossip podcast, right? Or I don't know, if you're into like investing, it's investing, like something that you enjoy listening to, or music, or putting on a TV show, any of those things. And you do that while you're exercising. If that's a way to get yourself in the routine of doing it and to actually look forward to it, great. What I'm getting at here is find a way for it to become something that you look forward to. Because if exercise feels like work, you're not going to keep doing it. And that's where people end up falling short, when mid-February comes and they're off of their exercise routine already. So find an activity that you truly enjoy doing that just involves sustainable movement or sustained movement, and a way to motivate yourself to do it. Like listening to a podcast or watching a TV show or doing it outside or with a friend. So that way you can really continue to motivate yourself to do it. Now, the specifics, any kind of physical activity counts. It just has to be sustained. I recommend mixing it up. So that could be like 3 to 4 days a week. That could be 20 to 40 minutes of exercise, like a 20-minute walk around the block is a great starting point. Do that in the morning, do that at lunch, in the evening. And then I often recommend for my clients a 10-minute HIIT workout. 10 minutes, because who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? We can all find 10 minutes when we're being honest with ourselves. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. Keeping in mind, high intensity is unique to you. So that is your max effort. So that what I mean by max effort is you want to be getting to the point where it's a little difficult to talk, at least have a conversation. You're pretty winded. You might be taking, breaths between words, but you're only there for 30 seconds. 30 seconds, your max effort, and 30 seconds of rest for 10 minutes. You can run up and down your stairs if you want. You can do jumping jacks. You can do push-ups on your knees or lifted, hold plank. You can do crunches. You can do push-ups. You can do jump squats, like any kind of exercise, jump rope, jog in place for 30 seconds, right? Any kind of movement. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds of rest. There are great YouTube videos that have this. If anybody has the Peloton app, you don't have to have the bike. You can get the app. There are great workouts on there, body-based workouts. You don't even need equipment, but 10 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week. That's all I'm doing. And it's been wonderful. And that is enough. So exercise boosts serotonin, it boosts dopamine, it boosts brain-derived neurotropic factors. So you're literally building new neural connections, and it boosts endorphin levels. And those are just some of the ways that exercise can be so positive for our mental health, including in the moment. Like if you're feeling depressed and you go for a walk around the block, that can make a big difference in how you feel. Or you do a 10-minute HIIT workout, that can make a big difference in how you feel immediately afterwards. Okay, lastly, some supplements that can help. Now, don't get me wrong, I will not poo-poo medication. I know I have a lot of clients that come on, they're trying to prevent starting psychiatric medication. They're currently taking it, they want to get off medication. Some clients, they come in, they're like, I started this med 20 years ago. It changed my life. I have no intention to come off of it. great. That's fine. Whatever your personal goal is and whatever works for you is what matters. I know there are some other, holistic health practitioners out there that really poo-poo medication, and I am just not one of them. With that said, with supplements, do not start anything until you talk with your doctor, especially if you're taking a medication. Antidepressants, certain supplements can be contraindicated when using antidepressants. So please, again, this is not medical advice. This does not replace that of your doctor. Run everything by your doctor before starting anything. With that said, these are some of the things that I'll use with clients. So I mentioned that amino acids are the building blocks to our neurochemicals. And you can supplement with amino acids. And when you supplement with them in levels that would be not what you find typically in food, you can push those neurochemical pathways. So for example, you can supplement with tryptophan or 5-HTP, which is further along that chain. So tryptophan is converted into 5-HTP, which is then converted into serotonin, which is then converted into melatonin. So supplementing with 5-HTP and taking that on an empty stomach can really help with supporting serotonin levels. And the beauty of this is you can notice the impact of it. You can notice changes within like 30 minutes, right? Taking it with food will impact the absorption because the more amino acids that you're eating, there's more competition for the absorption. So you'll absorb less of the 5-HTP. Though in some cases it can still be helpful. Generally speaking, on an empty stomach will be better. Now, I will say 5-HTP and tryptophan are 100%, just like St. John's wort also, contraindicated for anybody taking an SSRI or an MAO inhibitor. So that right off the bat, it can contribute to what's called serotonin syndrome, and excess of serotonin in the body. Very dangerous. If you're taking either of those classifications of drugs, do not take 5-HTP or tryptophan or St. John's wort. Again, if you're taking a different kind of psych med, still check with your doctor. But I know that right off the bat, I'm just going to put that out there, contraindicated. If you're not, again, if you're taking other medications in general, still talk with your doctor. If you're not, then maybe this could be something that you experiment with. Similarly, L-theanine is another one that you could consider. L-theanine helps support serotonin and dopamine and I believe GABA pathways in the brain. So theanine can be another really great starting point. And then I also love magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate, so is magnesium bound to glycine. And glycine is an amino acid that can also support serotonin, but especially GABA pathways in the brain. So GABA is one of our only inhibitory or calming neurochemicals. So magnesium glycinate can be really helpful for depression, but also anxiety, sleep, stress, tension, insomnia, even digestive issues. Magnesium glycinate is a wonderful go-to product. In addition, so those are 3 so far. So we've got, I'll say tryptophan / 5-HTP, L-theanine, magnesium glycinate. And then for overall brain health and performance, B vitamins and omega-3s can be really, and I'm going to throw vitamin D in there too because of the time of year. B vitamins and omega-3s can be really helpful. B vitamins are so important for the manufacturing of neurochemicals. And then omega-3s help with the insulation of our neurons to help with cognition and the process of thought and mood. It's also anti-inflammatory. And as we talked about, inflammation is at the core of chemical imbalance. Okay, a few last minute thoughts. So a few other ones. St. John's wort can be helpful for some people. Not everyone sees an impact with St. John's wort, but it could be worth adding into the repertoire. And then some mushroom extracts like lion's mane and chaga and certain adaptogens like rhodiola. All of those can be really helpful too, especially if the depression is more like stress, burnout, overwhelm kind of depression that is leading towards shutdown and immobilization. Those adaptogens could be particularly helpful. All right, everyone, a few last minute like closing thoughts too. So, especially this time of year, like the shorter days, the loneliness, the colder weather, some people are particularly susceptible to seasonal affective disorder or SAD. If that's the case, everything I should say, SAD, as the name implies, is a depression that comes on around the same time every year. Some people get it in the summer. Most common is fall and winter. And it has to do with the changes in light and how that affects our neurochemistry. This is worsened by vitamin D deficiency. So supplemental vitamin D, especially in the winter months, can help. But then also getting outside in the daylight hours can make a really big difference. And this is especially in the peak sunlight hours, like 11 to 2 o'clock, that can make a really big difference. This is actually how suntan beds were developed, is for light therapy, truly phototherapy. So you can also get photo lamps that can help a lot too. And then let's not forget the entirety of the whole person. So staying connected to loved ones, staying connected to your passions. I remember when I first moved to Colorado from Austin, and my first winter, it was cold and all of my friends skied and I didn't. And I quickly realized it was like, I need a hobby and I still need my friends, because otherwise it's very easy to kind of like hole up inside and feel isolated. And that can really affect our mental health. So I think connecting to nutrition is huge and exercise is huge. And I talk a lot about the vagus nerve and nervous system regulation. Like the tools and techniques for regulating your nervous system are huge. These supplements can be helpful, but also remember to still engage in hobbies that you love and stay connected to loved ones, even if that's just a phone call or a video call. All of those things are really important too. All right, everyone. Now we are still launching. So you've probably seen that if anxiety is more of the problem, but depression too, we are still enrollment for the Chaos to Calm Anxiety program is still open. And even more excitingly, I am including now a comprehensive blood panel focused on mental health in that program. No change in the cost. I've just decided to wrap it into the whole program for anybody that signs up. So this blood panel will look at an expansive thyroid panel, nutrients that can impact mental health like zinc and copper and iron and magnesium and vitamin D. We look at metabolic patterns. We look at inflammatory markers. We look at detox pathways. It is a really comprehensive panel, all designed to help us uncover the root cause of what may be impacting your mental health from a physical standpoint. So that blood panel is now included in the program. And the program will walk you through the foundational pillars of mental health: nutrition, anti-inflammatory diet. You'll get full nutrition plan, recipes, shopping lists, whole 9 yards, gut health, and nervous system regulation. And it's all delivered over 90 days through myself and one of our partnered therapists. We have weekly group coaching calls, so lots of support. And I really expect not only to see for participants to not only see improvement in your anxiety or depression and mental health, but also physical health, maybe weight loss, more energy, better sleep, better digestion. So again, we've decided to extend the early bird enrollment. We're still taking enrollees. We're cutting off enrollment in the next couple of weeks so that we can get started with those that have enrolled. So if you're interested in the program, it's not too late. Shoot me a message or drop a comment here, and we can set up a call and talk about how to get started. All right, everyone. Hope this was helpful. So glad for all of you to be here today. And if any questions come up after the talk, drop them, let me know, or shoot me a message directly. I'm here to help. All right. Thanks again for being here. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.